Translation I use in here in this discussion, Abdullah Yusuf Ali in here, Abdul Halim, this one, and Sahih International, this one. Of course, you can use any other translation as long as it refers to Quran text. And about tafsir, my primary reference is Tafsir al-misbah by Quraish Shihab. Who is Quraish Shihab? Quraish Shihab is one of the great interpreters in Indonesia. Why I use this one? Because I am Indonesian. Indeed, Indonesia is not Arab country. You must remember that Indonesia is the brother of Palestine. Indonesia will never have a diplomatic relation to Israel. Why? Because for us, Israel is not a country. Israel is invaders. Israel is the real terrorists. Today, Indonesian people, not only Muslim, all of us gather here for you just to show the world that you are not alone, our brothers and sisters. Save Palestine, free Palestine! Bismillahi, Rahman and Rahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will continue our discussion about journey to Quran. Previously, we have discussed about Bismillahi, Rahman and Rahim, but only about Allah. Today, we are going to discuss about Bismi, Ar-Rahmani and Ar-Rahim. Bismi means in the name of. So, Bismillah means in the name of Allah. The first question is why we use in the name of Allah in Quran. Why we do not use just in Allah? Why there must be the name in it? Why do not just use in Allah? Allah is God. So in Allah, just like in US dollar, in God we trust. Why must use the name here? In Arab, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, and in Allah is Billah. Actually, both of them, Bismillah and Billah, we can find in Al-Quran. For example, for Billah, we can find it in chapter 48, Surah Al-Falah, the victory, ayah 28. It says that وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ Shahida. And sufficient Allah is a witness. In here, use Billah, not Bismillah. Actually, there's a different meaning between Bismillah and Billah. When we say Billah, what we mean is Allah Himself. We want is Allah Himself. That we want Allah Himself become our witness in afterlife. But when we say Bismillah, in the name of Allah, what we want, what we need is not Allah Himself, but the blessing of Allah. That's why when we say Bismillah or Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, what we want is the blessing from Allah in our activity. That's why when a Muslim want to do something, they always start with Bismillah or Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Just what I did before, when I want to say Assalamu Alaikum, Firstly, I say Bismillahi Rahman and Rahim just to show you that Muslim always say Bismillah in good activity. But actually there is also a different writing here. When we see Bismillah and Billah, you will find a different writing. Billah is ba plus Allah. There is alif in here. So normally when we write ba meet with alif, it will be like this, and Allah. Bismillah, for example, we focus on Bismi, is B and ism. So normally in Arab writing, it must be B ismi like this. But in fact, when we say Bismillah in here, the writing is not like this. But in fact, this is the normal writing. Really? Is there any other example we can see that the normal writing of Bismi is like this? Yes, we can find it, for example, in Surah Al-Alaq, chapter 96, ayah 1. Iqra bismi rabbik. You can see Bismi in here is different with Bismi and Bismillah. There is alif in here, and in Bismillah there is no alif. Actually, the simple answer for this case, we can say that because the example of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim that God give us in Quran is like this. Like this. We can find it, for example, in chapter 27, Surah An-Naml, the end, in ayah 30. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is not written like this for Bismi, but like this. But we can also find the unique, the interesting fact in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. What is the unique fact in here is when we see Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, you can see there is a 19 letters in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim without alif. When we use alif in here, it will be 20. So what is the interesting thing about 19? In here, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, there are 3 words that refers to God. Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Allah, Ar-Rahman, and Ar-Rahim. In Quran, there are 2,698 of Allah we can find. Ar-Rahman, there is about 57, and Ar-Rahim is 114. Ar-Rahim and Quran. The fun fact is that all of this number is divisible by 19. Allah, for example, 2,698 divided by 19 will be 142. Ar-Rahman 57 divided by 19 will be 3, and Ar-Rahim 114 divided by 19 will be 6. So all of these, Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, their number in Quran is divisible by 19, and 19 is the number of letter in Bismillahi, Rahman and Rahim. That's the fun fact about Bismillahi, Rahman and Rahim, the writing without alif in Bismi. Second, we are going to discuss about Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman means the most gracious. Ar-Rahim, the most merciful. Actually, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim came from the same word. It is Rahmah. Rahmah is mercy, compassion. That's why the other translation about Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, for example, when you see in Abdul Halim version, he will say Ar-Rahman as the Lord of mercy, and Ar-Rahim is the giver of mercy. Or in another translation, we can see, for example, in Sahih International, we will find Ar-Rahman as entirely merciful, and Ar-Rahim especially merciful. Because both Rahman and Rahim comes from word Rahmah, and Rahmah means mercy. For your information, translation I use in here in this discussion, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, in here, Abdul Halim, this one, and Sahih International, this one. Of course, you can use any other translation as long as it refers to Quran text. And about tafsir, my primary reference is Tafsir al-misbah by Quraish Shihab. Who is Quraish Shihab? Quraish Shihab is one of the great interpreters in Indonesia. Why I use this one? Because I am Indonesian. Indeed, Indonesian is not Arab country, but you must remember that Indonesia is the brother of Palestine. Indonesia will never have a diplomatic relation to Israel. Why? Because for us, Israel is not a country. Israel is invaders. Israel is the real terrorists. Back to our Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. There is also the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, as we can see in here. There are at least two characters of Ar-Rahman that difference with Ar-Rahim. The first, that Ar-Rahman is a mercy from God in this world. We can breathe freely is a mercy from God, is a mercy from Allah. That is the first character. So, therefore, the second characters, Ar-Rahman is a mercy that universal, is a mercy from Allah to every creature in this world. To everyone, to everything, every creature. That's why in this translation, Ar-Rahman the entirely merciful, or the Lord of mercy. It is different with Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahim is a mercy from God, not in this world, but in hereafter, in afterlife. The opposite of this world is afterlife. And therefore, there is a second consequence of this mercy. This mercy is not for everyone, is not for every creature. Why? Because in afterlife, this mercy is only to whom obey the God, who obey Him. So that's why in here, Ar-Rahim is the giver of mercy. It's not the Lord of mercy, or especially merciful, because not entirely mercy, just in Ar-Rahman. The conclusion is Bismillahi and Rahman and Rahim, words that we use when we want our activity blessed by God. That's why we always, as a Muslim, we say Bismillahi and Rahman and Rahim to start our activity. In Islam, every good activity, especially start with Bismillahi and Rahman and Rahim, is considered as a worship. For your information, worship in Islam is not only pray, zakah, fasting, hajj, but all of good thing you do, especially start with Bismillah or Bismillahi Rahman Rahim, will be worth it as a worship. Even your little sincere smile will be worth as a worship. Allah bless you.